Okay, everyone, welcome to the finals of the Hylidae tournament between OMNI and NYX. Today we have me, Ray, as the commentator, and we've got Knight today as the co-commentator. And yeah, we're looking forward to a really exciting match for the finals to see who becomes our Season 2 champion.
Hello everyone, I'm Knight and I will be your co-commentator as Ray said today. And we have a very exciting matchup today between NYX and Omni. Very two talented teams, as I would say. They both actually have won against each other before, because if you didn't know, they were in the same team group before, and in fact, NYX managed to beat Omni in that match. But today, it's a different matchup because it's the final, and it's instead of it be best of three, it's a best of five, which I think, in my opinion, Omni has a good chance here because they are prepared and they've done a lot of best of five matches before in Koa. What do you think, Ray?
Yes, and as you can see, we've gone right into the picks and bans here. We've got Priestess and Seer as our first two bans from our Hunter pit stoppers. And to respond to that, our NYX survivors have chosen Barmaid and Magician as their first two survivors. And this is for the map Sacred Heart Hospital. So good bans and picks from both sides. It looks like the NYX survivors are sort of expecting it to be an Ivy or an Opera, of course, not trying to lean too much into either Hunter, as that can obviously cause problems if the Hunter chooses to go a different character than they were expecting. And yeah, we have also Fire Investigator as our next ban and Puppeteer as our next pick. So what do you think of these bans and picks so far, Knight?
So far, I think these picks seems to be towards IV counters, not not Abra necessarily. It seems like the hunter decided to ban first officer as the rescuer, but they went in for a mercenary as the rescuer. Mercenary is a very stable rescuer, I would say, and very good against both IV and Opera Singer. But I need to remind you, because it's Sacred Heart Hospital, a map that is notoriously known as a survivor-sided map. So I'm so excited to see how the survivors are gonna perform here against pit stoppers.
Yes, for sure. And yeah, with the picks, definitely more towards Ivy, but Magician and Puppeteer still have good abilities against Opera. Barmaid definitely struggles a bit more against Opera with drinks needing a certain amount of time to finish. So with Opera being able to close a distance so quickly, it's really difficult for a Barmaid to finish those drinks without any kind of support. And yeah, Mercenary's a very, very stable rescuer with the ban of first officer. He's definitely a really great and easy pick to just secure for that last spot. And yeah, looks like they are definitely being very wary and cautious of pit stoppers Ivy, as they've expected, launching maybe the previous rounds, the previous matchups, and making sure that they're well prepared. And it looks like Pitt is actually going to choose Opera instead. So ideally, that first chase for Pitt is going to be the Barmaid.
Yeah, picking Opera here seems like the wise thing to do against this team comp, because they don't have any support characters, and also they have a barmaid. Um, Magician and Puppeteer, I would say they do not counter Ivy, but I mean, they counter Ivy and they do counter Opera to some extent. But I think the weak link here on this team comp should be the barmaid.
Yeah, so ideally giving Barmaid that hospital spawn, potentially ward off the opera, and force the opera to face either the magician or the puppeteer or even the mercenary. As we've seen in previous tournaments, mercenary isn't such a daunting chase for a hunter, especially like opera, because she can just close the distance even if the mercenary is able to elbow away. But it looks like actually they'll be giving the barmaid the ruin spawn rather than hospital. And Pit has chosen to spawn right above statue. So it does look like she is going to be the first chase here.
Yeah, it seems like survivors have went for the Burma spawn, and they've given the barmaid here ruins. I think ruins is not a bad area to kite an opera singer. I, in fact, it's a really good kind of area against opera because if you use the window on ruins, the opera has only one shadow to dash to, so she's kind of stuck on this shadow and she cannot use her ability. So I'm so excited to see how this barmaid gonna perform against this um opera singer here.
Yes, and they've also, of course, given her the full kite build in order to maximize her kiting ability for this matchup here. And yeah, the matchup will start really, really soon. So good luck to both sides, both Omni and NYX. You know, we are looking forward to a really exciting matchup here and seeing who's going to be the winner of this finals. So let's get right into it.
Okay, as we're
Okay,
starting,
starting
seems
off.
like the
Mhm.
opera is going straight to that barmaid, but barmaid is rotating early game towards shack area and leaving this area actually, which seems to confuse the stoppers here. Is he gonna catch the plot trails of the barmaid? He does catch her trails and he starts to chase her in the shack.
Yeah, Pitt did a good job of really quickly surveying the area of ruins and trying to make sure that Barmaid isn't hiding anywhere in the area. And does catch her in shack. And yeah, as we said, of course, with this Barmaid ability. Oh, it looks like actually Pitt missed a dash. But
Yeah,
it is going to take her a
unfortunately.
while for her to finish that drink. So with that speed drink, and hopefully with Flywheel up soon, and getting a little support here from the Magician actually, looks like she'll be able to get the drink off without any problems.
Yeah, and the opera has to switch here to a different target, unfortunately, after the barmaid managed to get her drink. And this magician, he gets a hit right there. He's down to a blink, but does he need the blink? It seems like he doesn't need it for now. Okay, he uses a blink anyways, and he gets his first down here at Cypher's at 70%, so that was a decent guide from the survivor side here.
Yeah, I would say, but the magician is getting chaired on the puppeteer sniper, forcing him to have to leave it in order not to give any free hits or force a rescue that's a little bit too early. So yeah, just a bit of an unfortunate area, and wasn't able to get the wand in time for the first hit, and needed to stay right there in that front gate pallets. This mercenary here does take a hit quite early using an elf pad. It does look like he is trying to just make this rescue without taking any damage, but is going for the double hit right here and gets it. So that is a big advantage for pit stoppers, being able to double down the mercenary and going right back for that magician who's currently transitioning towards statue at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, the mercenary couldn't avoid the double down here, which is a really good thing for the hunter. And I need to remind you this: this survivor team comp only has one tide turner, which is not good against a hunter like opera singer, because you really need the double, double, double tide turner against the opera to get more time and be able to deal with the ciphers. But amazing rebound cut here from the magician using his last wand and taking the cipher away from taking the hunter away from all the ciphers. Really good job from the survivor team here.
Yeah, and Pitt's playing quite an aggressive style right now, trying to just go for the barmaid, leaving the chair completely as he does know puppeteer with that wanted when this puppeteer will go in for the save. So looking like they may not even save the magician at this point. He does not have any items left, so perhaps just leaving him on the chair is the best play here. They still do have two full ciphers to complete as well. Or actually, no, they have one cipher at 80 and one more cipher to complete for the last cipher. Sorry. But does get this hit on this barmaid right here, going for his next chase. Puppeteer and Mercenary are full health still, though, at this point. Mercenary being able to heal up. So it could be a tie here if the survivors play quite safe.
Yeah, it seems like a tie situation here, but let's see what's gonna happen here. It seems like the hunter's gonna decide to leave the barmaid and chase after the puppeteer here. I think his plan here is to put pressure on all survivors by hitting them all, so no one can go for a rescue. And unfortunately, Mercenary has to use his wand here and manages to pick up his elbow pad. That was really nice from the Mercenary, but unfortunately, he's gonna take a hit here. And
Yeah,
survivors are taking their time to heal. Go ahead, Ray.
and as we saw, the opera also used the blink to ensure that this puppeteer wouldn't be prepared to use the puppet again and get a full hit on the puppeteer. So at this point, puppeteer isn't really able to be healed unless the merc somehow stopped kiting and was able to heal him. So it looks like Puppeteer will have to stay at this 3 out of 4 damage. Merc on the chair, which means Barmaid ideally has to go in for this rescue if they want 3 people out up during the end game. Both ciphers being worked on right now are around 50. So, and I think they are a bit spread out. But unfortunately, Puppeteer goes down right here. Barmaid can get this rescue for free. But however, it does mean that this is looking like quite a difficult situation for the survivors. Going right away for the mercenary once again, trying to get a quick down on him again to put him on the chair. And yeah, survivors really need to finish these ciphers as quick as possible and try not to give any more free hits away.
Yeah, the hunter's playing way too aggressive here to try to get and push for more than a tie. And it seems like his aggressiveness is paying off right here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Puppeteer uses his self-heal, but she decides to go for a basement chair. I don't know if this is a good idea here. I think if she decides to chair outside the hospital area, it would have been better so she can pressure that cipher and also keep Cam in the chair if she needs to. But it seems like she's leaving and going for a cipher completely. She doesn't want to camp at all.
Yeah, good use of the
Nice.
puppet by this puppeteer, trying to stay alive around the cipher. And just to get this down, but Barmaid once again has rescued the mercenary. But at this point, Puppeteer no longer has self-heal. That cipher is at 84%. So if possible, this barmaid or mercenary needs to leap around while the opera is distracted and go for the cipher. And uses the blink and gets that down again on the mercenary. This will be his final chair if he gets chaired right here.
Yeah, it seems like the aggressiveness of this aggressive play style has paid off, and now it's looking like either a 3K or a 4K maybe for the hunter here on a very survivor-sided map to remind you. But it seems like the post survivors are gonna push the last cipher and they're gonna pop it immediately, and hunter decides to chase after the barmaid here.
Yeah, Barmaid did have a bot to use. Oh, and managed to get the flywheel out, but doesn't seem like the bot will be able to go for the gate as she was the one getting chased right there. Puppeteer can try his best to open a gate or go for dungeon at this point. But yeah, with only 2 people on the map at this point and no gates having any progress, it does look like a pretty good game for this opera. If she's able to seek out this puppeteer, it could also be a 4K.
Yeah, it seems like I think it's gonna be a one man escape at least here, because the puppet is giving, I mean not puppeteer, but like the doll, the mechanic doll is giving tinnitus to the hunter, so he thinks it's the puppeteer who's here, but in fact it's just the mechanic doll, and it doesn't seem like he can find the doll. Maybe he's about to find it here, and puppeteer already escapes. So GG's for both teams and for Pest Stoppers to get the 3K here and for the survivors to fight till the end and get the one man out.
Yeah, really great job from both sides. As we saw with that bot, it kept Pitt by the chair and distracted, unable to maybe expend more of his aggressive playstyle to seek out if potentially the puppeteer had been doing shack instead, look towards the shack gate area or go towards the hospital gate. So good play from the survivors having that bot out. Even if it wasn't intentional, as I think that bot was originally used just to heal the barmaid or the merc at the time it was being used. It was great to give tinnitus and ensure that that puppeteer was able to get out by the hospital gate. And from Pit, yeah, really great gameplay in terms of being aggressive. It really did pay off. Leaving the chair to really push for the other survivors there, such as the barmaid with Puppeteer having wanted. It's a great show of how such a strong hunter can really showcase the skill of how they're able to map out where the survivors are at the moment, and really just push for the win that they need.
Yeah, amazing job from the hunter here, but I think that survivors could have went for a tie if they brought a second tide turner on the team, but unfortunately they only brought one tide turner. If they could maybe um, make Puppeteer bring tide or the magician have tide, and then um, Barmaid seemed like she could kite on her own and get the first drink the first drink out, but then it the hunter switched to the magician, and unfortunately that was the issue here. I think if they had a tie turn on the magician, maybe they could have went for a tie. But they both teams did amazing here, and gotta give them that.
Yes, and so now we'll be seeing our NYX Hunter against the OMNI survivors on the Sacred Heart right here, going right in, right away, Priestess and Antiquarian ban. The band's also looking a little bit like an opera singer sort of band with the Antiquarian rather than an Ivy, as I do think it's easier to play against Antiquarian as an Ivy, so that could be a sign of potential opera as well here.
Yeah, I think Alex doesn't even play Ivy. He does play opera, in fact. But is opera gonna be the answer here? Especially on Arms Factory. I mean, Sacred Heart Hospital, because maybe the hunter can go for a 4K or a win, but it's so hard because as we've seen in the last match, it was so hard for so difficult for the hunter to get a 4K there. But because they played so aggressively, the hunter managed to get us 3K. So let's see what hunter Alex is gonna play here.
Yes, with the Puppeteer and Fire Investigator as our first picks in our global bans, and an Acrobat ban right after it. It looks like they're focusing maybe a bit on some kiting and some support here from the Fire Investigator. Fire Investigator has great abilities to give a little bit of support and also kite for himself as well. And they've also added a seer, so yeah, more added support. Looks like they want to focus on helping each other prolong their kites and as well maybe counter sort of an opera. So with the Puppeteer and the Seer, Fire Investigator as well, I feel like played quite a lot against opera. And for our final pick and ban here, we have Merc, and to respond to that, we have First Officer. So yeah, it looks like a pretty good comp to me in terms of support. Ideally here, maybe the Seer would be the best first case for this hunter. What do you think, Knight?
I think this is a really strong team to guarantee a tie here in round one. And especially that's all they need. The survivors need in this round is get a tie and win the round one. But I think Alex is gonna be in a tough position here because he needs to go for a 4K or a 3K at least just to tie this round. The answer to this team comp may not be Opera. I think if he maybe plays Spider, I know Alex plays Spider, or maybe he can go for a Geisha, but I think a Spider pick here is stronger than a Geisha. Maybe he can go for an opera singer. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. Spider is quite good on this map as well, and yeah, it is definitely more pressure on the hunter now. Um, you know, for teams, sometimes you rely more on your survivor team or rely more on the hunter when things don't go your way in the first half of the round. So yeah, in order for them to win this round here, the hunter will have to get a 4K, and just to tie it up, the hunter will also have to 3K. So both scenarios mean that the hunter is forced to go for a win. And the survivors have a little less pressure on them, as if they are able to take a tie here, that means that Omni will be able to win round one. And actually, it looks like Alex will choose Clerk instead of the options that we both were predicting. So I feel like Clerk has good potential here, as there isn't a harasser necessarily that can really force the clerk to split her attention. So this might be a good pick for this team comp. Looks like everybody has board time except the fire investigator as well, and it is looking like he may potentially be the first kite here.
Yeah, I agree with you, right? The clerk pick here is so strong, especially against this team comp, since they don't have any, or they have all three survivors that cannot make distance, except for the fire investigator, of course. But they also don't have any aggressive supporter here. So it's gonna be tough for the survivors if Alex plays this well. And I think that they made a mistake here by not bringing two ties as well. So let's see how this goes in this round.
Yes, I agree. I think that tide is such a strong ability. It does sort of hinder your ability to kite, but especially in the last round, yeah, like you said, with Opera, it was really important to have more than one tide. And here with Clerk as well, just trying to waste more time in general. So she is forced to split her attention multiple times within the game. That would have been ideal to also have another tide. But once again, good luck to both teams. And we'll get right into the match very soon.
Starting the match here, seems like the clerk decides to chase after the fire investigator.
Yeah, going around the shack, trying to seek him out. Already uses a ball to transition towards, whereas Clerk is going to go ahead and destroy that ball. And also take a look at the ciphers being decoded at the moment. Looks like fire investigators put this pallet down early. But Clerk has given herself a recording for this, so he does need to be a little bit careful next time he goes for a pallet drop or tries to go for a pallet in terms of getting distance, because it may not work out so well for him with this recording. He looks like he has used another ball as well to transition back to Shack. But yeah, once again, Clerks use this pallet recording to try and cut the distance that's being put between her and the fire investigator.
Yeah, the clerk decided to chase the fire investigator, but I don't think it was the right choice here because he was the only one who could make distance, which really counters up the clerk here. I think if she went after the seer, it would have been better because as we can see, Link is ready now, but no hits at all. So, and a seer L, that's a really amazing job from the survivors team. It's about to be a 3 suffer kite. Yeah, she hasn't destroyed this ball yet, and he gets to live here for so long. Let's see, is he gonna open for? Yeah, he uses Blink for a first hit. Here. Really nice. Baits out the flywheel. Amazing job from Alex to bait out the flywheel. But unfortunately, it's about to be a 3 suffer kite. What do you think?
Really great patience from Alex, but unfortunately, it looks like 3 ciphers will get done in the time. He is continuing to chase this fire investigator. Just really great job by the fire investigator himself with his balls. Oh, and a little bit of a slip
He
up,
runs
but
into the hunter.
runs right into the hunter. To say that Seer Owl was also really beneficial, but it was a 3 cipher kite regardless. And the last 2 ciphers are already being started while the first chair is just getting started. So, and also the survivors are also trying to be very careful in terms of not getting recorded on the cipher. The first officer here will go in for the first save.
Now the damage has been done to the hunter, but let's look at the good side here. Survivors have no items to support now. Fire investigator used all his tool balls. Seer has used his Seer Owl, so they don't have any rebound potential here. And they've just used their only tide turner on the game. So I think the hunter here has a chance to come back.
Yeah, especially with Clerk having an endgame, able to really slow down ciphers, especially the very last cipher, continuously just watching over it is really a great strength from Clerk, being able to slow her game down to make sure that she isn't getting cipher rushed too much towards the end of the game. looks like our puppeteer here will come in for the second rescue. And we have the last two ciphers already at 80% and just about 60% as well. So it looks really good for the survivors at this point.
Yeah, if Puppeteer can get this rescue and body block for a fire investigator, maybe they can get a tie here or a win maybe for the survivors. Unfortunately, Alex misses the hit on the fire investigator and hits the Puppeteer again. But that cipher is not close to prime yet. It's 60%, and he's gonna keep blocking it. I don't agree with the approach of the survivors here to keep body blocking when last cipher is being done by one person who's gonna keep getting recorded over and over again. But it seems like Alex missed his recording here. And a blink to secure this down on the fire investigator. Good job from Alex here. Now he manages to come back in the game, and he can solve this last cipher till he has his ability back, and maybe he switches to um, a teleport or even an abnormal death cipher. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, this cipher is at 80%, so it is quite close. And Seer is starting a second last cipher. The survivors on this side are both injured as well, and it looks like she spotted out both of them, and is going for the puppeteer at the moment. Seer, again, good job starting another cipher so that first officer here can go back to the one that's 80% and begin decoding it again. And it's definitely something that this clerk needs to watch out for, because this cipher is getting very, very close to prime.
Yeah, the survivors have seen what the clerk is trying to do, so they decided to start a new cipher just to be safe here. The clerk picked up on this, and she knows what they're doing, so she records the other cipher and goes after this one. Unfortunately, first officer goes down without using his watch. If he only used his watch there, he could have taken that and popped the last cipher. But no, maybe he was lagging there. I'm not quite sure what happened, but this clerk has a chance now. She can switch to abnormal and abnormal death cipher, and it's over for the survivors at this point. But let's see what happens here.
Yes, for sure. That cipher at Shack over there is only 70% at this point, while the cipher this first officer is chaired at is at prime. So clerk does need to be a little bit careful here and play it really safe on her side. Oh, and pops it actually, but unfortunately hits the chair right there and isn't able to get that down.
Yeah, she
on that
tried to pop
seer.
the cipher on her own, but unfortunately she hit the chair instead.
Yeah, that would have been really a game-changing play right there to get that seer down at the chair. Her skill is just about up, and she has switched to teleport and is trying to block the gate. So it is looking like it could be a 3-man, so that NYX here can tie up the round. Seer staying in hospital. The puppeteer trying to camp the gate here as well, and potentially get it open for maybe both survivors to be able to escape. Looks like Quick is leaving the hospital, however, and going back towards the chair. Loses tinnitus, but uses the teleport to go for the puppeteer. But the gate is already open.
Yeah, unfortunately, Puppeteer managed to get the gate open, but can Seer get the dungeon here? He's so close, and I think he manages to get the dungeon. GG's for both teams. It's a round 1 win for OMNI, as we've seen here.
That was so close. Had the clerk been able to maybe just teleport the second earlier before the gate was able to be opened, it could have meant 3-man right there. But unfortunately, the survivors played really safe. Seer hid around hospital to make sure that the clerk wasn't able to seek him out and just chase him at the end right there. And Puppeteer also just being safe in terms of staying at the gate and using the puppet when the teleport happened to buy time for the Seer to get that dungeon. Really great plays from both sides. That clerk able to bring back the game right there. But yeah, it just looks like the Omni survivors were able to play just in their. The game was just in their favor right there, and Seer was able to get dungeon and manage a tie for the survivors.
Yeah, what a match! It was a roller coaster match actually, because the game was going for the survivor's favor until the first officer got down on the prime cipher without using his watch, and Clerk could have came back into the match and get a better result here, but unfortunately, um, the puppeteer managed to get the gate open by being patient and not getting recorded by the clerk here. So good job for both survivors and hunters um, getting a tie here. And I think the clerk could have gotten a better result if she teleported on the gate before it was open, and I don't think Seer could have, or I don't think Seer had the chance to get the rescue. So I think if she did that, she can down the puppeteer and then decode the other gate by Seer and maybe go for a 4K here.
Yes, I agree. That I think would have been much more ideal for that clerk um, to secure a win for their team. However, we're moving into round two. As of now, again, it's best out of five. So just because, let's say, Omni wins this round as well, doesn't mean that they will win the finals here. It's still anybody's game. NYX may need to play a bit more aggressive and try and go for better or safer wins for ties, hopefully, in order to secure round two or tie up round two. But yeah, so far, quite an exciting round one. Omni did win that with having one extra escape right there. But yeah, really strong gameplay from the teams so far. Really goes to show how a team as survivors can work together and communicate well in terms of avoiding that hunter in the end game, and sort of maybe like the pressure in terms of being a bit nervous there and not feeling hesitant to teleport so early. I feel like, yes, I definitely agree. Had she teleported earlier, even if the seer got the save, she could still lock off the other gate as well while they try to decode it by recording the survivors. So there was a chance there for her, regardless if the seer got that rescue, to still manage a 3K or 4K. But yeah, that's certainly not how the game managed to unfold so far.
Yes,
But
indeed. As you
just
said,
looks
right,
like
this is just the first round of
mhm,
best of five, and it was Omni's map pick, so it makes sense for them to win on this map because they're the one who chose this map. So GG's for both teams, and Omni wins the first round, but it's a very small difference in points till now. And now it's gonna be round two, and it's NYX time to pick the map. So I'm so excited to see what map they're gonna pick here.
for sure. What hunters are you sort of expecting here for round two? I do think that we'll probably have maybe an opera respect ban, and on maybe Omni side as well, maybe banning out the opera as well, or banning out the clerk there, um, and which means we'll have new round two hunters here. Usually, I expect to see things maybe like Dreamwitch Hermit, Night Watch. I don't forget what hunters are even in the game at this point. I haven't played in a while. I would say maybe even if they don't ban out Ivy, Ivy's also an option as well. What do you think, Knight?
I agree with you. I think Ivy round two, if she's not banned, is gonna be so strong. And it seems like NYX decided to pick Moonlit as their second map, so it seems like a really good map, especially against Ivy, because the way to counter this map is so strong against Ivy because it's so big, and after the Ivy nerf, it's so hard for the Yusin to go from one gate to the other. So it's gonna be so hard to play Ivy on this map. So I don't think we're gonna see an Ivy ban here. And for NYX, I think they decided to reply with this Moonlit pick, as we know Alex has his Geisha, and Geisha is so strong on this map. So I'm so curious to see if Omni decides to ban his geisha, or they're gonna go for the clerk ban.
Yeah, for sure. Moonlit is such. I would say it's quite a balanced map. You have the coaster, which buys a lot of time for the survivors. Even just from first to second stop, it's almost a free maybe 15 seconds of just getting on the coaster, moving on to second stop, and the hunter either having to walk all the way there or use an ability to get to the survivor and close that distance. But it's also such a big map, which means that for the survivors, it's ideal to choose a rescuer who can quickly move across the map, such as a mercenary or wilding, with the boar and the elbow pads. But for the other survivors, when these first rescuers aren't able to go for maybe a second rescue, it's more difficult to get across the map, and maybe you end up having to save a survivor after half, which is really what the hunter wants. So yeah, hoping to see both teams really use the map to the best of their ability, and maybe choose the characters that really excel on a map that's so big and so versatile, such as Moonlit. Yeah, just waiting for here the teams to get all ready and prepare for their second round here.
Yeah, and it seems like Pistopper is gonna be the one to play first. So Omni's Hunter versus NYX Survivors. Who do you think, Ray? Who do you think is gonna be the hunter that Pistopper's pick here?
I feel like what is Pitt? I feel like Pitt's Dream Witch is quite strong, but in against I'm sure he recognizes the strength of NYX's team as survivors. Dream Witch does struggle a bit against communication in terms of 4-man teams. So other good options. I'm not sure if he would potentially bring out the Ivy here and just with Ivy strong end game and sort of abilities in terms of moving around the map quite quickly, it could potentially be an option that Pitt chooses. I know that just because the map might not be so beneficial for certain hunters doesn't mean that the player can't excel on those maps and with that character. Like if you're really, really good at this hunter, you'll sometimes be comfortable playing them on any map that you're given. So that could be an option. Uh, Aside from that, I'm not sure if Pitt also plays Wax Artist. Wax Artist is also quite a strong map on Moonlit, and maybe we're looking to see that as well. There's a lot of open space, and Wax Artist is able to shoot wax also through the carousels. So that could be really ideal for playing on Moonlit against this team. So I feel like those are most ideally the sort of picks that I expect to see. Again, anything can be chosen. Do you sort of know maybe more of what Pitstoppers is stronger in terms of hunters?
I think Pistoppers has a really wide hunter pool here, especially
Mm-hmm.
on a map like Mullet. He can either, as you said, he can play Ivy, he can play Wax Artist, and he can also play his Dreamage. And I think he can also play Opera, or he can play Gamekeeper if he needs to. This map is so good for Gamekeeper, as we all know. But
Yes,
let's
for
see,
sure. I definitely agree with that. I
based
think those are
on
really
what
good insight.
Hunter gets banned here, I think
Mm-hmm.
this toppers is gonna reply to that and also to the team con.
Yeah, we'll definitely see maybe Pitstoppers sort of try and decide what he wants to play going off of the comp. Since, yes, as you said, he has a lot of options. And it seems like the survivors want to ban out the Ivy instead. Maybe they aren't as comfortable playing against an Ivy on this map, regardless of it being not the most ideal map for Ivy. So it could be another Opera again as well on Moonlit. Um, he is a common choice just in general. So Pitt has a chance here to just replay the opera that we saw in the first round. And we're just waiting on those first two picks as well from NYX. It's looking like they are thinking of Fire Investigator. And with the Free Sincere band out, maybe they want to go for another support. Maybe they're looking to change up their strategy here. Looks like they'll be selecting Gardener, though, however, instead. So maybe, yeah, trying to play into countering the opera here with Gardener as one of the first picks.
Yeah, as you said, we could be looking at another opera match, but this map is so different from Sacred Heart Hospital because it's a very big map, and the two gates are way too far from each other. So it's gonna be so difficult, even more difficult than last round to get a win here because of how big this map is. And although Opera is so fast and good at making and closing distance, it's gonna be still so hard to make it from one gate to another. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen here. And it seems like survivors have decided to pick a very stable rescuer on this map who's mercenary. Mercenary is so good. I think they didn't decide to pick Wildling here. Wildling is also good on this map, but Wildling gets countered by the Gamekeeper, which is also a good option that Pistoppers have.
Yes, for sure. And it's good that they sort of want to secure that rescue first in case Merc were to be banned in that last ban in order for them to secure the rescue that they want to choose as a team. And with the coordinator as the last ban, NYX actually chooses Cowboy, which is really good support in terms of prolonging sort of the time that they're buying for the ciphers, and with that lasso forcing the hunter to either maybe put down or go for another chair that they weren't originally wanting to go for. Cowboy's really good at buying time for the team in that manner. And yeah, to me with these bans, it's potentially looking like Pitt wants to play Opera again. Um, I'm not sure if that's what his plan really is, but against this comp, I feel like Opera wouldn't do too bad. So it's possible that is, a really good option to play against this comp and against this map. And yeah, it looks like Pitt will be playing Opera Singer for round 2 as well against this team comp here.
Yeah, this team comp seems really good, and against Opera, it's gonna be so hard for the Cowboy to harass, but Cowboy can still kite well on this map, especially with his lasso, because there are a lot of areas to lasso to and make distance. So it's gonna be so interesting to see this match. And it seems like they're gonna go for the normal spawns on this map, and Pistoppers decide to spawn in Godkite. That's very weird from the hunter. It's gonna be so hard for him to chase after Gardner, so I think he's gonna go after the fire investigator. What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, I feel like usually you see the Opera if on the side of the map try and spawn right below first stop. So you sort of trap the survivor who spawns at first stop right in that area and force them to take the coaster or have to just only kite around it and not be able to transition to any other areas without giving a free hit. Another interesting thing is that none of the survivors here have chosen to bring a full kite build, so everybody here has borrowed time. And, like we said before, it is more ideal if there are two tides, but maybe for this comp it isn't the best idea, so we only have Mercenary with Tide again. So yeah, for this, maybe another option though is Pitt try and put a shadow at the bottom of the vault and sort of cut the distance that the gardener could be getting with the bubble in the vault by just teleporting back to the shadow that he places below the window. But we'll see what happens in this match. And yeah, good luck to both teams. Right away going for the gardener in that two-story, however.
And unfortunately, he misses his first dash, so it seems like it's gonna take him longer time. But Gardner was hiding instead of rotating, so it's gonna be a very fast first hit here. But fortunately, it's um it's a bubble hit, so no damage on the survivors yet. But we get the second hit immediately, so um Gardner is in a really tough position here, especially in this kind of area. I don't think she can kite for too long, but amazing job here getting the vault here. If she can kite till Blink is up, that would be amazing. But what do you think, Ray?
Yeah, it looks like she'll just go down right here. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to start hiding when the opera is moving in your direction. Leaving out of the two-story isn't such a bad idea, as maybe the gardener was expecting the opera to do that at first. and place that not statue, the shadow below the window. So sort of transitioning out was a good idea, but I don't know. I think the hiding just really sort of cut the kite short, as Gardner didn't have much to go off of in terms of the kiting area. So yeah, looks like Pitt will just try and camp the Gardner for now, not play so aggressive right at the beginning of the match. Is trying to sort of put a little pressure here on the mercenary who would have been the first rescue, but it doesn't really seem like it's his intention to go for a save. And actually, he just uses the blink right away on the Merc, giving him a hit and really forcing him to not go for the save right there, forcing either someone else or potentially a sell overall for this Gardner on the chair, which is really a good position for pit stoppers.
Yeah, it seemed like the survivors were going to sell this Garner, but unfortunately the mercenary was decoding way too close to the hunter, which allowed the hunter to get a blink hit on the mercenary. But they're still gonna non-rescue the Garner, which makes sense here because she doesn't have any rebound kite potential, and it's gonna.
Yeah, just going for the fire investigator right away. We've had Gardner out of the game at this point, and just trying right now to go for the second chase here. Mercenary again, as we see, he is injured, so it's really not a good option for him to go rescue at this point anymore. And yeah, it looks like the survivors aren't in the best position at the moment. They don't have a lot of ciphers done. Only one has been finished so far, and the second kite is already midway through. Doesn't manage to land a hit here, but is still trying to go for the fire investigator in this area. Fire investigator is doing a really good job of utilizing those balls and trying to avoid hits here, but does take a hit right through this pallet. But the ciphers aren't too far behind. We have two ciphers that are just about to get done. We've also got a 50 and a 60% cipher, which would be all the ciphers in this case. It's only a matter of if these survivors are able to finish all of them, though.
Yeah, they do have a lot of progress, but unfortunately, they don't have enough survivors to do these ciphers now and pop them. And mercenaries have health, and mercenaries was their only tight turner on this game, so it's gonna be so tough for the survivors here.
Yeah, and one of the, very progressed ciphers is also the one that the fire investigator is chaired on. So it's not necessarily going to be an easy cipher to get done, and it may end up having to, for Merc to start a new cipher as well after he finishes the one at Bridge. And this rescue as well, it's going to be very close right here.
Oh no, and he misses the lasso, but he gets a rescue without getting through shock. Amazing job from the cowboy, and a nice flywheel here forces the opera to use her blink and down this cowboy. She she's playing way too aggressive here, leaving the cowboy on the ground and going after the fire investigator. And a slow fall causes the fire investigator to get turret shocked, unfortunately. But I think the survivors still have a chance to come back here because last effort is 60%, and if Cowboy gets up right here, and yeah, he does get
Yeah.
up, and they could harass here if possible, but seems like no.
Yeah, and looks like Merc will try and go in for the save here. Cowboy trying to just stay away, and maybe potentially Cowboy could start another cipher, but looks like Opera is just going to go. Tried to hide behind the pole right there, but goes straight for the Cowboy to down him. Now knowing that Cowboy does not have self heal at this point, gets a little bit stuck on the shadow, so is on cooldown. But the tide being active, Merc here just trying to stay alive. Has two bubble pads and uses one to get towards the first stop area where there are pallets to be used, but takes the hit anyway, which means that he will be going down. Which leaves only the fire investigator up at this point. Oh, who did heal the cowboy, actually. So they do have a chance here. Merc still has self-heal himself. Only cowboy is the one that doesn't have self-heal, but goes down there with that lasso, unfortunately. Which means that Opera can just go right back for that Merc.
Yeah, again, the aggressive playstyle is paying off here for Pistoppers, and maybe this time he can get a 4K instead of a 3K like last round. because Cowboy has no longer has his self heal, and no one can do the last cipher now because everyone is injured and Cowboy is left on chair to bleed. But she decides to teleport to the wrong cipher away from the fire investigator, but it doesn't matter because Opera Singer is so fast she can close the distance so quickly. And it seems like she's gonna find a fire investigator here, and it's a 4K for Pistopper.
Yeah, it's a 4K for Omni, which is just one better than last round. So it just really showcasing the strength of his opera here. The survivors maybe it's a bit intimidated by the possibility of Ivy, and not banning out that opera may have been, sort of a mistake there, as Pitt really was able to come up with a really good 4K right there. So it's up to their NYX Hunter now to hopefully even things out in this round two.
Yeah, seems like it was so unfortunate for NYX survivors, as it was also their map pick, and unfortunately they couldn't get a win or a tie here. At least it was a 4K for Omni,
Yeah,
but
maybe just with
um,
that first kite there, sort of not being as long as they wanted or expected for the Survivor team. As Gardner sort of, decided to hide instead of rotate, and then sort of it made her or forced her to kite in an area that's not really ideal. In any sort of situation, really, against any hunter, those two pallets just don't really leave you a lot of room to transition. They're not really great for, camping behind. And so it kind of caused the gardener to go down quite early.
yeah, of course it didn't seem like it was the best option to hide early game, especially when you have a this pink accessory and you have the bubble on you. It was so easy for a hunter to spy you, and the gardener was hiding in a very bad spot. Like she, if she gets found out, she doesn't have any cutting potential because she's way too far away from good cutting areas. So I think the better thing to do there was to go inside the the two-story area or even rotate outside, keep running, keep making distance. Because as we've seen in the early game, Pistoppers failed his first dash, and it was so hard for the Opera to catch up because she's not using her ability. She's just walking normally like any other hunter. But unfortunately, it was a down on the Gardener, and survivors had to sell her at this point.
Yeah, with sort of survivors just doing whatever they could. Um, oh, right, I guess there's no map bans anymore. Best of five, so we're going right again into Moonlit River Park. And oh wait, sorry, we're in the second half.
Yeah, it's second half.
Um, who was like thinking that? Okay, that wasn't me. So anyway, into the second half right here, Priestess and Balmer, as the first bands. I do think Embalmer is a good ban here for Alex because banning out the Embalmer is trying to ensure that there isn't a potential for a one man or even a tie because Embalmer allows the survivors to continue decoding because he can save himself. It looks like the survivors will choose to ban out the gamekeeper. Actually, as you said, Knight gamekeeper is really strong on this map, and is sort of a big threat, especially on the areas of first and fourth stop. He can just hook right through those stairs. So I think they're definitely trying to maybe just go against the clerk again, as they saw like they were able to tie last time. So maybe they have a little bit of confidence of sort of facing that kind of hunter again. And so they do choose Seer and Coordinator as their first two picks.
Yeah, and it's Alexis being very wise here with his bans because he decided to ban the priestess and Embalmer first. Embalmer is a really good character to guarantee a tie, especially on a very big map like Moonlit. And priestess, we've seen Omni use priestess multiple times, and that priestess was able to even guarantee a one man out, especially in very hard situations for survivors, and that priestess was their answer to get the one man escape. But he picks on that and he decides to ban the priestess. And he bans the anti, really good survivor to ban. She's a strong cutter, strong harasser. And the last band seems like it's Patient. Patient is really good on Moonlit, especially on first and last stop. I'm surprised I didn't see him banned Acrobat, and they also didn't go for an Acrobat. So Alex has done his homework, and he knows they're not gonna play Acrobat on this map here.
Yeah, an interesting build name from Wizard Aqua. His build is actually called Dumb, as opposed to his teammates here, so not sure what that entails. But Painter is a good choice. Painter is really, really strong in terms of like kiting and support. Putting those painting down, those are really good stuns, and it gives them a lot of time to transition or move away from the hunter in general, and coordinator as well. Again, this team comp is really support focused in my opinion. You've got Seer, you've got coordinator, both good for support, and Cord with that gun, Seer with the owl, and Merc as a stable rescuer. This is looking like quite a strong team comp at the moment.
Yeah, unlike the last round where there were no type of harasser or supporters, this time we see a painter and a coordinator. And um, I may disagree with you, Ray, because we've seen in IVL, painter was being countered by Naiad as you can look down and avoid that painting, and also up being able to circle the area and put the moist on the painter and get him down. But this is not a Naiad, it's an opera singer indeed. So it's gonna be so interesting because opera singer has to look to where she's gonna dash. So it's a different scenario here.
That's true, and he does have full kiting. And yeah, I agree. Definitely against Naiad, Painter may not be the best option, but against Opera, even my team has used him in previous tournaments. We played him in IVT, and he was quite strong in terms of kiting against Opera. It's in order to dash towards a survivor, you're looking in their direction, and that means Painter can pick up her face and pick up the put the paintings down as well. And Opera isn't really able to sort of like avoid Painter recognizing the face or getting the facial recognition because she doesn't have her first presence yet. So that's quite ideal because it looks like the Painter will be the first kite in this spawn layout. But he does have as well some other support on top of that with the Seer. So it does look quite strong as of right now for a Painter against an Opera.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see how Alex is gonna perform against this team comp. In my opinion, I think that if he played um, a geisha instead, it would have been way better. But let's see what's gonna happen in this round as we start. It seems like the opera is gonna make her way to the painter at last stop.
Yeah, going for the Painter right away. And as a reminder, X does need to get a 4K here in order to tie up the round, as the NYX survivors did get 4Ks in the last round. But it looks like the Painter will take a first hit right away. Camped the pallet, but got a little bit baited right there and got hit right through, putting it down. But does have his first painting ready already, so the early hit may not have too much detriment to his kite so far.
Yeah, reminiscent of last half of the game. Um, the painter gives a very fast free first hit to the hunter, but this time I think it's gonna be a blink down. But no, the hunter has warp instead of blink, so this painter is able to kite even longer now with his two paintings, and he uses both of them now. So he he's able to waste a lot of time here.
Yes, and the painter still has flywheel available to use as well. So does flywheel that hit right there, but looks like that wasn't able to just take a vault instead. So end up going down even with the flywheel, and Alex still has this warp to use as well. So that's quite beneficial for not having to utilize it on the first kite. However, the ciphers are pretty well done at this point. We have two done, and we've got one at 66%, which would have been the Rescuer cipher. So not too bad. Does look like it could be a tie at this point with Painter not having any items left to utilize at this point. Could just go for a double down here and then but it doesn't manage to get it and just go right back to the Painter.
Yeah, it seems like Alex tried to go for a double down, but Mercenary response to this was using an elbow pad. And it seems like the Painter is able to do a very good rebound kite here and avoids the jump back. Really amazing mind game here. And
Oh, missed the hit
whoa,
again. Yeah.
yeah, amazing rebound here. But unfortunately, Painter will go down. But this is a Painter, and he still has a lot of time to waste on that chair. But it seems like the Hunter's gonna chair on the Cypher. He doesn't care about the gun. He tanks the gun, but he drops this Painter down before getting stunned. Amazing job from Alex here. And Painter
Yeah, good
cannot
reaction.
struggle. Yeah, good reaction
For
time.
sure. Because now that gun can no longer be used for anything else. Sort of, maybe could have been used after the Painter was rescued, so that he had even more time to do another rebound again. However, the Painter's flywheel is almost up again, so it is possible for him to continue the kite a little bit longer after this rescue. And the two ciphers do have a lot of progress on them as well. So it's looking sort of like a tie game here for both sides at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Hunter never had the chance to use his warp. So, and he switches to Blink here, which it seems like he only wants to guarantee the tie here by doing that. And very unfortunate here for Alex. It seems like this game is not going in his favor, but let's see how he's gonna do. Maybe he can turn the tables on the survivors and come back into this match.
Yes, with only one cipher remaining at 58%, and no other survivors having been on the chair yet, it is a bit of an uphill battle. But the Hunter does have definitely lots of chances to turn this around, capitalize on any mistakes that the survivors make themselves. But it looks like they're just sort of staying away. However, it does look like the ciphers are all on the same side of the map. So it seems like these survivors are cipher locked, actually.
Yeah, it seems like they got themselves cipher locked now at this point, but they decided to play this slow and go for a reset play here. But unfortunately, as you said, they are cipher locked, so it's gonna be so tough for them, as well as for NX, because now he has his blink to work with and nothing for endgame, no teleport or warp to work with for endgame.
Yeah, Alex tries to go back around the map again to check for the ciphers, and stop chasing the seer, but no one is on any ciphers at the moment. So, it may have been just a better play to just continue to tunnel this seer at the moment. But Seer's doing a really good job of utilizing what's left of this area, the pallets, and avoiding taking any hits at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like the survivors are winning these mind games against Alex, so very good job for the survivors. But it seems like Alex is gonna switch targets now and keep putting pressure on the ciphers. As he sees it's shaken, because the mercenary was decoding, and he decides to chase after the mercenary and first stop. Mercenary who has a wand on him, he uses it to block the Opera's way, but Opera is so fast anyways, she catches up. And it seems like they're going for a very slow endgame here, as they're not decoding, but instead they're going to reset.
Oh, misses the
Misses this
hit
hit
there
here.
on that mercenary, which is really crucial. That could have been the down right there. And it's sort of allowing the survivors to make their way to the ciphers on the side of the map. Again, with this cipher lock situation, it's going to be quite difficult to get any progress done. Since Opera can just move across the map quite quickly, the ciphers all being on the same side really allow her to transition between all of them at a really quick rate. Looks like they were trying to do the side tent ruins cipher, but maybe just trying to give tinnitus around there. Zero is hiding right beside it. Merc's trying to run into the corner, but the coordinator is actually working on that cipher that's closest to the bridge right now.
Yeah, and they decide to start decoding now since the mercenary and the opera is far away from last cipher, and she seems like she's gonna go after the last cipher, but it's almost prime. It's 90%. Can she pop it before she makes it to the coordinator?
Um, well, coordinator's full health anyway, and with only blink to use, Opera can't do anything about sort of abnormal cipher or switching to teleport. All she has is blink, so she immediately goes for the seer here at the four stop gate. Hopefully, looking to get a quick down and then catch up to the survivors who are heading to the other gate at first stop at the moment on the other side of the map. So, if she can chair quickly and dash all the way across the map in time, she could go for a 3-man here.
It seems like the opera goes for the chair on the seer, but this means she's not able to make it to the gate on time and stop the gate. And unfortunately, she has used her trump card already, so she cannot use it and switch to teleport. And it seems like it's gonna be a tie in this situation.
Yeah, really good job from the survivors being able to just kind of almost completely ignore the cipher lock situation, healing up and playing the game slowly instead of rushing and trying to decode the cipher right away. That was really, really ideal for the survivors on Omni's side, as while the opera was distracted, the coordinator was able to prime the cipher and get it done. And with them being full health, there wasn't anything the opera could do to stop her from popping the cipher. So really good gameplay from the survivors. You know, Alex did their best with what they had, but unfortunately, even with this ideal situation of having the ciphers together, wasn't able to bring a win out of it. But still managing to get a tie is really good and ideal. Obviously, you want to minimize the amount of escapes that happen in your match. So, you know, good job for Alex in order to get that tie as we head into round 3 here.
Yeah, and with the end of round two, it means that Omni has 2 points while NYX still have 3 points to gain. So it's so difficult for NYX here because it's NYX map and they it's time for Omni to pick the map. And for in order to continue to round two, NYX has to win this round or at least tie it. But it's gonna be really tough for NYX. They really have to do their best here to stay in the game.
Yeah, it's definitely much of a bigger gap to close at this point. Um, Getting in here with into round 3, Omni definitely has the upper hand, having won both round 1 and round 2. They only need one more round here to win the series, so Omni does need to try their best right here if they want to finish it in 3 rounds. Um, and NYX here, they want to bring it back. It's important for them to also, again, do their best in round 3. Hopefully, they can, you know, take round 3 and maybe try and even things out going into the round 4 if that has the potential to happen. So yeah, just waiting here on the teams, looking at the next map pick and ban. But yeah, really strong gameplay so far from Omni, being able to win round 1 and round 2 consecutively.
Yeah, looking back at that match, I think that Alex um, was not successful choosing the trait warp for his opera, as because as we've seen, he never got to use it the entire game, and unfortunately, he had to change to blink in order to get the down on that painter. So I think a better option was to either go with your normal blink, or you can go even for excitement if you want to go after the painter first. But unfortunately, that warp did not do him any good. And endgame there, he tried to play it so well and so patiently, especially that they were cipher locked. All ciphers were on the same side of the map. But unfortunately, he ran out of patience and he decided to chase after Merc. And during that time, the coordinator decided to go and decode the cipher. and by that time it was too late to go and do anything at that point. So GG's to both teams.
Yeah, honestly, I'm quite surprised that Alex chose Warp as the first trait. I feel like Blink is easier on Opera as Warp sort of has more margin for error, especially if you try to use Warp as a Blink. I feel like there's more time for the survivor to react to vaulting over. Warp is still quite quick, regardless, but sometimes if the survivor vaults back fast enough, even if they need a second to sort of register that the warp is being placed, it's still less utilized than Blink for Opera because Blink just is more. I feel like has just more of a secure hit in that case, and of course it's just whatever you feel more comfortable playing. But I really feel like choosing Blink first and then switching to Warp or switching to Teleport at the end could have really improved the chances of Alex pulling out a win right there. But yeah, I feel like just Opera in general struggled more in terms of that team comp because of the Painter and the Seer support. If Painter wasn't able to get that owl, that down would have happened right there. And so you really just see how beneficial support is, especially for a character like Painter who needs like time to get the painting done and put it down. So the teamwork there was really, really good by Omni in terms of using all the support characters to prolong the kites of these survivors.
And also, just to remind you guys, he brought Warp, but he also spawned away like near the last stop. I think if he brought Warp and spawned near or close to first stop, so when the survivor takes roller coaster, it would have been really good to counter roller coaster and Warp immediately to second stop and get a third shock on the survivors. In this case, it would have been amazing if that was the case. But unfortunately, he spawned way far away from first stop, so survivors could not even take coaster, and he doesn't really have um, survivors on the team comp that can make distance. So I don't really see the warp being an effect here.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and that's true. Definitely, like, that's a great point. Like, using that warp for second stop versus using it there at the end, trying to chase the person at fourth stop, that would have maybe also been quite a secure down right there. Like, if they take the coaster without taking any hits, let's say, in terms of doing a good kite maintaining distance with the pallets, she could possibly get a terror shock with the warp, or get one hit, survivor takes the coaster, and then warp and get the second hit as they stop at second stop. So I feel like maybe it was also a case of the spawns right there. But regardless, going into round 3 here, our map for this round is Arms Factory, and Pit will go right in here with the Seer and Antiquarian band right away.
Yeah, this is Omni's map pick here. So they pick Arms Factory, and it makes sense for the NYX survivors to ban Hearth Shadow and Dreamage because they're so strong, especially on a small map. But I'm kind of curious to see because Pitstoppers do have his Bloody Queen, which is also a really good pick, especially on a map like Arms Factory. So I think to counter the Bloody Queen, I think they may have to pick survivors that counter her. But it seems like they're gonna go for Embalmer and Coordinator. What do you think about these two picks, Ray?
It looks like definitely these NYX survivors really want to maybe focus on getting a tire or one man in this round and take the pressure off their hunter. Because Embalmer, like we said, really can just maximize sort of the decoding time because he can just rescue himself off of the chair with the coffin without having anyone else to come and save him and waste time stopping the ciphers. And Cord as well, just being a really good support. Using the gun really buys a lot of time. And here with our next bans and picks as well, banning out the puppeteer, Acrobat being chosen. Just again, such a strong kiter. Acrobat, with the rolls really can sort of almost guarantee a 60-second kite because you can just avoid taking hits in really crucial moments. So yeah, right now with the picks they have so far, looking like a quite strong team comp in terms of support Kite, and then you have Embalmer who has sort of the most like I wouldn't say like survivability to describe it, but can just maximize the time that or like minimize the time that the survivors are disrupted, if I put it that way.
Yeah, that's true. And it seems like also again they decided not to ban his opera singer. So Pistoppers can go for another opera singer pick here, which is really surprising to me because they lost both times against this opera. So I think third time's a charm. We should ban this opera singer. But
Actually, true. Maybe they're just like, third time's the charm, and we'll get it this time. If it goes opera this time, because, I mean, it is like they're choosing different characters. So like, maybe they're just like finding the right one, and like this is the comp. This is the comp that like we could do it with. Because yeah, banning the Dreamwitch and the Shadow, on this map, opera again isn't terrible because really she can be played on any map. Sure, there's some maps where she's a little bit weaker, but Pitt definitely has shown us how strong his opera is, and they're just like, we don't care, we don't care. So,
and it
but actually,
seems
like you
like
said, yeah, Pitt will just choose Bloody Queen instead.
yeah, Bloody Queen is a really good hunter on this map, and against a coordinator and an acrobat, she's really good against these two. And in Embalmer too, she's kind of good to some extent because um, Arms Factory is a really small map. All she has to do is one mirror, and she's already next to the Embalmer. So I'm so curious to see how this game is gonna go here.
Yes, for sure. We've seen even other teams and other hunters playing Bloody Queen on this map have done really well in the past. She's just a really strong hunter, especially in a round like round three, when you're sort of beginning to kind of bring out more of your hunters that seem more like tie strength hunters. But actually, if we look at this talent comp here, we do have two ties this time. Um, Maybe they were kind of expecting Opera, and they were like, yes, we need to start bringing more than one tide. But Coordinator and Bomber both do not have borrowed time, so that could maybe be a problem in game. Bloody Queen usually end game you sort of want to have people having borrowed time because using that speed boost maybe would kind of slow her down a bit, like not bring out the mirror so quickly, waiting for you to sort of lose that speed boost. Um, so that might become an issue later towards the end game. But yeah, it looks like they've chosen maybe I feel like here Embalmer, Cord, and Acro can be the first kite. She's not too far away from really any of them, and Cord is the closest. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I think that Pistowers doesn't have any issues or any problem to go chase after the cord, especially that cord gets countered by Bloody Queen if you're not careful, because all she has to do is two mirrors, and she cannot even shoot you. But heading into their round three first half, um, seems like Pistowers decided to go after the Embalmer, and Embalmer again not rotating like last game. He's taken a similar approach to last game where they try to hide, but unfortunately it doesn't pay off this time, and it's a very early first hit on the Embalmer.
Yeah, sort of stopping right there caused that mirror hit to come in really, really early, and now he's forced to kite in this area. But actually, Pitt has a patroller, so maybe this down will happen even sooner than we think. Because there's sort of nothing you can do here. Um, no flywheel to be used so early in the game. Not in your window, not in your pallet. Try to spawn the coffin right next to him. Um, I don't know if he wants to save himself right away. Okay, doesn't.
No, I think that he's gonna get rescued first time and then run as far away as possible with his tide turner. Especially now they know that this Bloody Queen doesn't have teleport or any trait that can allow her to make distance. So he's gonna use his tide turner time to make it as far away as possible from this area and then use the coffin on second chair.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're sort of running in the same direction. Okay, now they've split up. Actually, I think. Oh, maybe the embalmer must have spawned the coffin in an attempt to stop the bite, even though he was in a bad area, so it didn't really matter. But looks like he'll be going down again after using the flywheel. Pit looks like he's trying to see if Embalmer will go for that coffin, but he's not going to do that. He is just going to force the Bloody Queen to chair him first, and then embalm himself. Looks like Court is maybe trying to come in here as well with some support.
Yeah, I think she can shoot the hunter here and stop him. Yeah, but unfortunately, the very risky vault in the window. It could have been a turret shock, but
Yeah, I was so surprised. I
fortunately,
was like, oh my god.
yeah. But it seems like she's taken the Bloody Queen to the embalmer, which is something you don't want to do. And the Bloody Queen is gonna use her patroller again. But this time, the the coordinator is here to help the embalmer.
Oh, she tried to do a long swing there with the dog biting him, but didn't manage to get it. And Corvus managed to get a very clean gun off onto the Bloody Queen. But the embalmer will end up going down regardless because her mirror was up. And actually, was looking like she's trying to get a second hit here on the court as well. Just misses it as the mirror just ends right there at almost the most crucial moment to get that hit off the court. But yeah, right now it looks like a strong scenario for a tie. We've got one cipher at almost 90%. There is still a full last cipher that needs to be done, but it is a Bloody Queen, so it's possible for this cipher to get done quite quickly this late in the game, since she is a single hit hunter.
A very nice mirror on the acrobat. Um, it seems like Pistoppers decides to go for a map pressure approach here. Um, but unfortunately, the embalmer is dead now. I feel like it would have been better if this coordinator tried to body block for him, because um, he was gonna get mirrored anyways, and unfortunately, she didn't do that. She came in late, but it seems like he's going after Cord now to put damage on survivors, and he's struggling with that for now, but she's gonna take a hit here regardless.
Yeah, looks like Charge of Vault right there, but wasn't able to get through. Avoided a lot of those mirror hits, but unfortunately, here comes the dog and is going to bite the cord. So with that mirror being up again, looks like this cord will go down, and she is quite close to basement, which is sort of a downside here for the survivors. But it doesn't seem like she wants to do that. Probably wants to pressure the Merc Cipher, which is at the factory gate here, which she is doing. That cipher is almost 80%, but with that cord right there, he isn't able to continue decoding it. But yeah, I agree. I think she should have to maximize like the use of the gun, body blocked, so that the embalmer could survive a little longer. And now I don't know about this rescue as well. Sort of got hit a bit early. Actually does manage to get it without taking a second hit, so that's really beneficial for the survivors right now.
Yeah, it seems like the mercenary managed to get the rescue, but and unfortunately, Pistoppers does not realize that Last Cipher is being worked on by the court, and she can pop it right now, which is really good because she doesn't have borrowed time. So that's really good for a survivor. It seems like they're in a very strong time position.
Yeah, Patroller also it's still on cooldown, so even if she has the ability to switch the secondary trait there, which she does and does have teleport. Actually, the gate probably won't get opened in time if she does choose to teleport right now. Both survivors are there at the moment, so tries to mirror here on the dungeon, but that gate is open and both survivors are there, so it looks like it's a tie for both sides at this point. Um, yeah, switching to that teleport could have meant the win here for Pitt, but maybe with the survivors being around factory where she last saw them, she expected the Merc to actually be at dungeon rather than be at the gate with the acrobat.
Yeah, the Bloody Queen decided to be to play it safe here, unlike the other rounds where Pistoppers was playing so aggressive, but this time he decided to play it safe and check if someone is hiding there to get the rescue if he teleports. And unfortunately, that was not the right move here, as all survivors were on the gate and it was a tie. So GG's for both team, and now um, it means that Alex has to get at least a tie here to tie this round and go for a round 4.
Yeah, it puts Omni in a situation where if they want to win here in round 3, they need to get a win as well. Get a 3 escape or buy something like a 4 escape so that they can take the series here. But yeah, again, just less of an aggressive play caused Pitt to sort of take the tie there, and it was really good job by the survivors, sort of backdoor decoding that cipher. Pitt busy with the Merc allowed that cord to pop the cipher at the most ideal time, considering she didn't have any borrowed time. And the 2 people with borrowed time were able to be up and running towards the gate after the pop. So yeah, strong gameplay, and you can really just see how much time the Embalmer pick really buys you, as well as the gun. I think that he could have survived definitely, like you said, a little bit longer, but regardless, they were able to get a really strong tie this round.
Yeah, and I looking back at the game, I think that Pistoppus could have had a better chance if he only chaired in that basement, if he chaired the coordinator in basement, because as we know, ciphers were almost prime, so chair on that cipher didn't really do him any good. It didn't make much difference. If he only chaired in basement, it would have been very helpful for him because they've used their tide turner, so no one can go for um, simple rescues there and come out of basement. And I need to remind you that Core didn't have border time, so if he managed to keep them stuck in basement and try to get a fall down hit with no recovery, that would have been huge for him and maybe push for a win or a 4K.
Absolutely. And I don't know if uh, sort of maybe he thought that he could also just get the same sort of down at the cipher. But yeah, like you said, I feel like definitely going for the basement maybe was more of a safe play. Whereas it's popping in basement is sometimes, even if you do get a good pop, you're still using a lot of your borrowed time speed boost to get out of the basement. And with a hunter like Bloody Queen, not having any speed boosts like to go towards an area where it's more difficult for her to see, even with the mirror image being behind walls and stuff. It's more difficult for her to sort of get those hits. So yeah, like you said, basement could have been a better play in terms of getting the win there for Pitt. But regardless, going into the second half here for picks and bans, we've got Psychologist potentially as one of her first bans. And maybe thinking about Mercenary, Embalmer could be another good play to ban here as well. Again, but actually,
Was Embalmer
Psychologist and
Burma
Patient.
banned?
Is he Burman?
No, it was Seer. Yeah, it was Seer who was Burma banned, but
Yeah.
Embalmer is still
So,
open to pick here.
but he just chooses to ban Psychologist and Patient. So, um,
I think he's not worried about Embalmer because again, it's a small map, so
mhm.
Embalmer is not a good pick here. And the survivors respond to these picks by banning the Bloody Queen and Opera Singer. I think these two bans are not the best here because Alex can still play other hunters. He can maybe play Bonbon, and we've seen Alex play Bonbon on Hospital and get a 4K before. So Bonbon for Alex can be good here to get a tie or maybe a win, if possible. He can also play Anne if he wants. He can play a lot of hunters, but I maybe they were afraid of the Bloody Queen and Opera Singer here.
Yeah. Especially with this cheerleader antiquarian pick, maybe they're sort of expecting, or they're trying to ward Alex away from playing a clerk again. As you can see, like Clerk gets countered by Cheerleader and Antiquarian because they're both like good at harassing or forcing the clerk to stay distracted and not block off the Cypher as much. So yeah, with this Merc ban as well, they've chosen Aeroplanist instead of securing a rescue. So it looks like the last ban may be Welding or another rescue. And locks in First Officer, so they may choose Welding in a response to that. Or a Gravekeeper or another stable rescue.
Yeah, they do lock in the Gravekeeper, and it seems like they're going for distance making team comp. They have the airplanes and they have the cheerleader. So I don't think Bonbon will be good against this team comp. And they have Antiquarian as well. Anti can just counter the Bonbon. So I think maybe if he wants to try, he can go for an end pick here, and it would be good for him if he wants a die. But if he wants to push for more than a die, then I wouldn't recommend or I wouldn't say he would play N here. Maybe play some other hunters. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a spider. I'm not sure what hunters he has. I know he has a lot of non-meta picks he can surprise his survivors with. So what do you think, Ray? What hunter do you think Alex is gonna pick here?
I feel like a lot of sort of the win-ish potential hunters here aren't so good on this map, Arms Factory, such as like Wax Artist and Hermit. Those are good hunters to play when you are sort of leaning towards wanting to get more of a win than a tie in this scenario. So I don't know. I mean, Anne is a possibility. You could just cancel out their items. And then maybe that means you could land a hit. And if I'm sure Alex, and actually does choose lock in Anne right there. Anne can like jump and cancel at the same time. So if Alex can do that, that would be really really beneficial because with the cheerleader, okay, she uses her first dash, you jump and you cancel, and then on her slowdown you could get that hit. Antiquarian as well. If you jump and you cancel, she can't swing. And same thing with Airplanist. Gravekeeper is a bit better of a rescue against Anne, however. So there is that, but because he can just avoid the cat or he can just come out of his shovel at the chair, and that stops sort of the stuff potential from Anne. But yeah, I feel like Anne is a good pick here against this comp.
Yeah, Anne is a good pick to secure a tie here. So it seems good, but unfortunately, NYX needs to push for maybe a win because they don't have any points right now, and it's gonna be so tough for them if they tie this round. They still have a chance to come back and win, but it's gonna be a very tough chance.
Yes, and as we see here for the Swans, as of now, we've got Gravekeeper, the first Working Hunter, and honestly, the Antiquarian is the closest to the Anne, and I feel like Antiquarian is sort of a really, like, I would say the most ideal chase out of all of these targets right now for an Anne. So I feel like it's beneficial for Alex here to just go for an Antiquarian. I know Wizard Aqua is known to be an S Antiquarian and has good skill set in terms of playing Antiquarian to her best of her ability. So that could be a potential challenge, but we won't know. But the match will be starting soon, so good luck to both teams. And yeah, hopefully this will be an exciting one for the second half of round 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be so exciting because it's if this end could not get the tie, it's gonna be over for NYX and GG's for both teams. And based on the trade here, I would think Alex will choose his first pick. It seems like he will go after the Antiquarian, who's already rotating away. Wise choice from the Anti, and I'm not sure what trait he has. It seems to be a blink, and
Yeah, I think it's Blink. Oh, wait. I'm blind. Why does it kind of look like Warp? No, it doesn't. I don't know. Okay, this is not important. Anyway, gets that stun off on the Antiquarian and lands that first hit. Flywheel not being up yet and being stunned wasn't able to use a stick. So good first hit off on the Anne, and Anne's cats are also back up at this moment. Misses the cats, but also misses the swing and ends up getting that down right away.
Yes,
Um,
amazing job from Alex here, dodging the stick
and
and
it
getting the
was
very first down.
and the warp wasn't even up yet, so that's really really strong for Alex. In terms of getting that first down really early, those ciphers, only two of them are just above half, and that one cipher that was being done by the rescue is only at just under 30%. So yeah, really strong early game from the hunter here.
Yeah, well done by Alex, but I don't think that it's a better idea to stay and camp this antiquarian because it was a very fast down. So I think the play here was to go for a warp on a cipher and slow down these ciphers. But because of this, because he didn't go for a warp, now they're choosing to rescue after half, and two ciphers are gonna be done.
Yeah, and with this cat stun here, even with the shovel, Gravekeeper still ends up having to take a hit for that rescue as he ran into the cat. But maybe this means that this antiquarian can potentially do a rebound kite here. Still has some stick left to use. Has flywheel. Misses the hit actually, and ends up taking the hit on tide. So this will be the second down here for the disciple, and going to be the second chair as well, with still flywheel and stick left to use. Unfortunately, that is the end for the antiquarian.
Yeah, and I think um, judging by how it cancels the gravekeeper shovel and gravekeeper goes down here, and it seems like it's gonna be a basement down. Yes, it's gonna be a basement, and no one has sight to rescue this gravekeeper. So it looks really good for the hunter here, and survivors do not have enough ciphers nor enough survivors to do the last ciphers. So I'm excited to see how their survivors are gonna play this now.
Yeah, three ciphers left is not ideal when you have a basement a chair at the moment, but Airplanes does have tide. Uh, oh, oh, he's going up. Okay.
Misses his push. It looks like it's gonna be a stuff rescue.
Yeah, maybe he used the wrong jetpack there. See, rose up to the top of Shack and hit his head on the ceiling, and he wasn't able to end up getting down into the basement before the Anne recovered and got stuff right there. But yeah, Airplanes had broken windows tide, I think. So he did have tide available to rescue this Gravekeeper, but it's just not going to happen. And it looks like this is really what LX needs to keep his team in the game and in this matchup. Securing this, hopefully 4K, looking at the ciphers, will be really, really advantageous for NYX as a team.
And Ray, I just want to say, I think the aeroplanes was trying to go for the fast dashes. As you know, if you play aeroplanes, um, his there's like a small cooldown where you cannot use your second push immediately after the first one. So the way to counter that is you basically dash and then you hover in the air. So it's more faster. And I think that's what he was trying to go for. But it's basement and he kind of hovered above the basement instead of going down there, which was a mistake.
Oh, okay, I see. I don't play Aeroplanist, so I just saw him hit his head and then he died. So, and yeah, now he's found the cheerleader. So it's looking like a really strong 4K. Aeroplanist on the ground, waiting for sort of the cheerleader to go down. And the end being forced to take the cheerleader towards the airplanes. When you're in the situation as Hunter, usually you're just trying to bring this survivor as close as possible to the other survivor, so that when one gets up, the other can't. But actually, it looks like just cheering the cheerleader. I'm not afraid about the airplanist.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know if that's a good choice to do because now you have to look for the aeroplane. It was down on the ground, so you will not get tinnitus from him. And maybe he can camp the dungeon if he cannot find the aeroplanist. But again, it's an aeroplanist who can just dash past the end and get the dungeon. So I'm so curious to know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, trying to find the airplane in this area again with no tinnitus to look out for. You can't really discern whether or not the survivor is in the area that you're looking within. Airplane is just trying to hide out around the dungeon while the cheerleader expires on the chair. And he still has 2 jetpacks, so it's possible for him to get dungeon at this moment. As soon as this cheerleader dies, and yeah, gets up really close to the dungeon right now. Will he be able to get it, even though the Anne is camping it?
He has 2 dashes, so there's a chance here. He has to put 1 cat on the dungeon in order to stop this aeroplanist. But it seems like he gets the aeroplanist down. Unfortunately, it was so close. He almost made it to the dungeon. But GG's to both teams.
Yeah, great try to play right there. Oh, my game froze. Okay, help.
There's a
Um,
hunter, so it's fine.
okay. Yeah, like right there at the end, Anne had her warp, so it was sort of a crazy, just like a chaotic play there. Bring up the warp, forcing the airplanes to use his jetpack, and then um, managing to swing and land the swing on the airplanes as he tried to dash towards the dungeon. Just perfect gameplay from the end here, and keeping their team in this matchup.
Yeah, Alex just gave his team hope to come back into the match and maybe win and become the winner of this tournament. But I'm so excited because now it's NYX time to pick the map and get the advantage here. If they can win the map number, round number 4, it's gonna be so good for them because round 5 is gonna be the one to determine who the winner of this tournament is. So, Ray, what do you think is gonna be the map pick for round 4 here?
I think at this point, so with all maps being back in the pool, as we saw, maybe this team wants to give a bit of benefit to the hunter and take the pressure off the hunter, as we saw, like getting that tie. I think was really important, and Alex just played super well in that second half. And I feel like maybe obviously I don't know how they're feeling at the moment, but I would say, as a hunter, if I were hunting for a team in a competitive sense, and I was constantly feeling the pressure of having to go for a win to guarantee we move on in without uneven points, I'm sort of feeling very pressured to get that win. And so getting that tie, I feel like maybe relieves some of the pressure off Alex. And so hopefully being able to do that again would be really important. So choosing a map that could play towards actually the survivors, so that survivors can sort of bring out another tie or potentially a win, that would maybe be the best bet here. So maybe they could repeat it, like play Arms Factory again, because they seem to do really well in Arms Factory. And again, like the hunter pool is getting a lot smaller with all these bans, and having to bring out sort of weaker picks in terms of just character ability. So that could be ideal for the NYX team here if they want to continue to stay in the matchup and make it to R5.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think that NYX should give their survivors a benefit to pick the map here, because as we know, it's round 4 now, and survivors are running out of picks here. As we know that the first 2 survivors of each round are Burma bans, so they have now 6 survivors that are permanently banned and they cannot pick them anymore, while the hunters have only 2 hunters banned. So I think giving your survivors here an advantage, um, pick a map that survivors are confident on playing on, a map that they can win on, or maybe guarantee a tie would be good, and then Alex can go and push for a win maybe, or better than what survivors have done and get the win here.
For sure, and on OMNI side, things were still looking quite good, even if they weren't able to take, um, you know, round 3, it still means that, with round 4 here, they're still at an advantage having won round 1 and round 2. So not necessarily a lot of pressure on them just yet, but if they want to finish things up quite quick, this would be the round to take in order for them to win the series. So maybe there's a bit of pressure there in terms of wanting to finish up without losing their advantage. So for OMNI's side, hopefully whichever map is being chosen, and I think they're choosing Leo's Memory, they will be able to hopefully excel as a Survivor and Hunter team, and maybe be the champions here of season 2.
Yeah, as you said, Omni is still in the lead here, but again, NYX still has a chance, a really good chance here, especially with map pick. They can win this. Maybe they can win this round, and who knows? It's gonna be really tough for both teams here. And it seems like they decided to go for Leo's Memory. I think Leo's Memory is, as I said, a good map for their survivors because we've seen them before perform really well for NYX survivors on this map, and I think they got a 4-man scale on this map before. I cannot remember. No, I believe. Well, I cannot remember to be honest, but they always do. The survivors of NYX always do very well on this map, and I think Alex still has a good hunter pool to pick here on this map.
Yeah, and looks like teams are just getting ready again. And at this point in this matchup, almost choked. There are 300 bands, so we're really bringing out sort of the bottom of the barrel of like win tie hunters. You're probably not having a lot of really good options. So this is sort of where the survivors are trying to shine more and take that pressure off of their hunter. You really want to try and go for that tie or go for that win, or even go for that one man if that's what your situation is. And so yeah, definitely this round will sort of really be a deciding factor if Alex and the NYX survivors as well are able to pull another really good play out in both halves of this round. Round 5 will certainly be exciting as it's sort of evening out the playing field again and sort of letting it be anyone's game at that point. So yeah, just waiting on I think Omni's survivors will be going first in this first half. So just waiting for them to get all ready. But yeah, I don't know. What kind of hunters are you expecting to see in this round 4?
Okay, I just want to say that Alex is really good at non-meta hunters, as I said before. So he can really go for a surprise hunter pick here. And on this map, Leo's Memory, I think he can go for a lizard pick. We've seen him play a lizard before when he needed to, and his lizard is really good. Um, his lizard is um, capable of getting 4Ks, and if it doesn't go well for him, he can secure the tie really easily. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lizard on Leo's Memory from Alex here.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that would be a really interesting matchup to see as well. So, if that happens to be what we're going to be seeing in this first half, that would be really exciting. Like, I feel like this is where things are. I feel like really everyone's really feeling the pressure, even if one team has the advantage and one team really needs to sort of do their absolute best in order to stay in this matchup so far. So yeah, I'm really excited to see potentially Lizard. If anyone wants to play any other interesting hunters. Earlier in this tournament we saw a Joseph, and that Joseph got a 4K. So hopefully we'll see some interesting picks. I'm trying to tell anyone to play Joseph or anything, but that would certainly be very exciting.
Oh, I never seen someone play Joseph in a tournament. What team played Joseph?
It was the baddies team, so they had their hunter play both sides, and the hunter ended up picking, I don't know, I think it was Joseph for round 2, and it was Red Church, and they managed to get a 4K, so I just thought that was crazy. It was so exciting. I was commentating it, and looks like they want to ban out Umbra and the Lizard, as you were talking about, and the Gamekeeper for this this first half.
Unfortunately, we will not see that Lizard, as they've done their homework and they know that he's gonna play Lizard on this map, so they're gonna ban him. So I'm really excited now to see what Alex is gonna play. It's gonna be so surprising because, as I said, he's full of surprises. He has a lot of non-meta picks that he can play here, and it seems like he decided to ban the Psychologist again and Acrobat, and the survivors are taking their time to pick here, and it seems like they're gonna lock in the Prisoner, and we're waiting for the second survivor.
Yeah, and yeah, it was as we can tell, a lot of like the options are no longer available because of the gold ban. So, we're seeing a Prisoner and a Painter locked in, and the first 2 minutes were Psychologist and Acrobat. So maybe trying to ban out some support, some kiter. As we've seen so far, OMNI plays quite a support based comp, that or a supporter kiter kind of comp where the kiters available can also give a lot of support to the other members of their team. So maybe Alex wants to balance out those bands accordingly, try and mix up the Omni's team comp, and pick or take out the most counters possible to the hunter that they potentially want to play.
Yeah, and it seems like the survivors are going for safe picks here. They're going for the wildling, very safe rescuer. He can guarantee the rescues anytime, especially with that boar. And Gamekeeper is banned, so his counter hunter is not on the list here. So they're not worried about a Gamekeeper. And it seems like Alex decided to ban the barmaid for last survivor banned. I wouldn't be surprised to see Alex play maybe Wheel. Wheel seems to be not a bad option. Um, Maybe the Painter can be a good counter to the Wheel, but Wheel is really good against Wilding, and he can counter the Bomber as well, and Prisoner too. So I'm really excited to see what Hunters Alex gonna play here.
Yeah, and with this embalmer pick too on the map, like Leo's memory, Alex just need to be careful of that embalmer, since he just make the difference between a tie, a one man, to a 4K. So yeah, I don't know what will we see from Alex. Does Alex play Hermit? That could be an option potentially. Um,
But
for
I
this team
don't
comp.
think it's a good idea to play Hermit when you have a prisoner on the team.
Oh, I don't really know what Prisoner does to counter him, but I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I feel like sometimes like as a hunter you just play to your own strengths, and I mean obviously you don't want to play something like Mad. Oh, but we'll actually see the Geisha, so yeah, you're right. Maybe like Hermit wasn't the best choice there, but we'll see a Geisha from Alex actually, like you were mentioning before, on the map of Moonlit.
Yeah, he does play Geisha, and it seems like he's not scared to play Geisha on Leo's memory. His Geisha is good enough to play on this map. But is Geisha good enough to get a 4K? Is what I'm excited to know here. And it seems like they're going for a Burma spawn. They're given they're putting the painter in middle actually, and it seems like again, painter might be the first chase, or he could go for that embalmer.
Yeah, and I don't think Leo's memory is. I think it's a good map for Geisha. So I feel like there's not too many areas where she'll have too much trouble chasing these survivors. And yeah, being closest to the painter with her ability of the butterfly, she should be able to avoid or extend the amount of time it'll take for this painter to gather the face of the hunter. So that might be really beneficial for the geisha as well. It seems like everyone here has borrowed time except the prisoner who has a full kite build. So yeah, in the event that geisha chooses to go for the prisoner instead, he has something more to kite with as well.
Yeah, I think Alex should be fine chasing the embalmer with maybe playing core warp. But if he has excitement, he can go after that painter first. Because again, as I said before, on the Moonlit match, um, painter counters Opera because Opera has to look at the direction she's dashing to, and same thing for the the geisha here. She has to look where she's gonna put the butterfly on, and in order to do that, painter is gonna get put his painting down and cancel the dash. So I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen here.
Yes, for sure. And again, this is round 4 of our finals here in this Hylidae tournament. And yeah, getting right into it. Yeah, looking like going towards factory here. Okay, my game's like lagging or something. I can't really see what's going on. Okay,
Yeah, I
going
think
after
he's
the painter.
yeah, I think he has excitement. He fails to dash here as painter picks a butterfly, unfortunately.
Yeah, facing around in factory and the moment painter trying to there misses the dash to go through the wall, unfortunately. So just trying to maybe get a mind game, break this pallet and continue the chase um around the factory. Painter seems like he wasn't able to get much distance out of that and does a
Oh my
slow
god.
ball actually, so that was quite risky.
Almost a third shock. I'm not I don't know this. They go for risky plays lately, and it seems like they don't get punished for it. But it seems like Alex is gonna get his first hit here after using the excitement, which is really good for the painter as he gets out that trade.
Yeah, and actually gets that down right away. Painter not able to finish the second painting, like in the last match when he was able to receive the support from the Seer. As Seer is not in this current match. So yeah, quite a good first down from this geisha. We have 2 ciphers just being done, and 1 cipher at about 50%, which would be from the prisoner giving progress to another cipher. So yeah, not terrible for either side. Yeah, hopefully we'll see this while I go for the save. Yep, and maybe go for a double down. No, just goes for the painter. Gonna swing on the painter and it connects, and yeah, we'll have our second chair of the game so far.
Yeah, good job for Alex to get that down before Painter is able to paint his last painting and use it. Um, I think the survivors are gonna go for a sell here. Um, unless Embalmer is going for rescue, but it's gonna be so close because they have a prisoner and Cypher Rush is gonna be so fast. As we've seen, the Wildling was able to finish his cipher, even though Wildling is such a slow decoder, but with the help of prisoner, the Wildling was able to finish his cipher. And it seems like the Embalmer is going for a very early rescue here. You really want to waste as much time on chair, especially when you have a painter.
Yeah, and Painter had his second painting, but just unfortunately doesn't use it and gets downed. And as well, this Embalmer about to take it down as well, being so close to the Painter after the rescue. I think at first trying to body block, but it didn't end up happening. So Geisha will have eliminated the Painter from this match and right away has her second chair with that Embalmer down.
Yeah, but again, they're only missing one last cipher, and they have a prisoner who can finish it really quickly. So it's gonna be a tough call here. And Embalmer decides to use his coffin here, so he doesn't want to put more pressure on his survivors going to rescue, especially that prisoner doesn't have borrowed time.
Yeah, with that prisoner connecting, it did cause Geisha to split her attention and go to disconnect the cipher before continuing to go after the Wilding, and fails her dash on the Wilding as well with that butterfly. And Wilding gets on his boar, so switches to teleport in order to go after the prisoner at this point.
Okay, it seems like he decides to chase the prisoner here after switching traits. I think it's a good idea to do that. Um, but if he can down him quick enough, it's gonna be so good because no one can come for rescue and the prisoner doesn't have borrow time. So let's see how this goes. It seems like the prisoner is doing a good kite, and last cipher is only 60%. If he can down him quick now, um, he can maybe get a 3k or even a 4k. But prisoner uses a flywheel and gets it down so quick. So, but look at the ciphers; it's almost gonna be primed, and Wilding is preparing for the rescue.
Yeah, it was a really good dash by that geisha. And Prisoner also using that flywheel, but Prisoner doesn't have borrowed time, so rescuing him would be a risky play. So, yeah, actually, a good choice to pop there. And she just goes right for the embalmer. Looks like she's trying to head back to the chair, or is sort of split and hesitating on who to commit towards. But it looks like she's just going to go right back for the prisoner's chair here and push the Wilding away so that he isn't able to go for the save. And we'll have Embalmer begin the gate, but it looks like it might just be a one man here. That
But
that teleport.
if she can down this Wilding or teleport um as soon as the teleport comes online, is she gonna teleport fast enough? It seems like she's gonna teleport to the chair and it's gonna be a one man out.
Yeah, honestly, more of a save play here from Omni. While the Embalmer could have gone for the save, actually, he may be trying to go for the save right now just to see if he'll make it. Actually, I just don't know what he's
He
doing. Actually,
wouldn't have
he's
enough
just in the
time,
gate. I don't.
unfortunately.
Oh, he was just hanging out in the gate. Yeah, I don't think he had enough time either, but I was just not sure why he wasn't leaving. But yeah, for here, that was a good play because they knew that her teleport would have been back up quite soon, and it would have been quite risky to just go for the save there, and potentially give themselves away or give their one man away. So good job on the survivors for playing it safe, and good job to LX. Um, you know, with that geisha being able to get that 3K for their team, that I think that was really really crucial.
Yes, amazing performance from both sides. The survivors managing to um, effectively and correctly cipher rushing the hunter using the painter to his not the painter, the prisoner to his fullest potential here, and going for the pop like that was meant that they're going for a one man at least, or maybe a tie if they could. But um, Alex played that really well and put pressure on both sides on the gate and on the wildling who was trying to rescue, which stopped them from getting the rescue and eventually getting the 3K. So good job to both sides here.
Yeah, for sure, and that means for for the second half, um, NYX survivors have a little bit more to work with and have a little less pressure on them, um, because of this 3K by LX. So yeah, going into the second half of round four, hopefully we'll be able to see NYX potentially stay and push to round five here with the survivors going next. It also does mean there's a lot of pressure on Pitt to go for a 4K here in order to win this round four.
Yeah, as you said, if Omni wants to end this in this round, all they have to do is go for a 4K. But NYX still has chance here as they can go for a 3K and tie this round and go for a round five and try to win that. And if they could, we're gonna go to overtime, or better and go for a tie here. If they can go for a tie, it would be amazing for them, as they won't have a lot of pressure on them on round five.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to say again, these are both very, very strong teams. So At this point in the second half, it's really anybody's game here. There is a lot of pressure on Pitt to get that 4K for his team if they just want to finish up. But again, they both have strong gameplay on both sides, and I don't know what sort of unders do you think you're expecting Pitt to play in this half?
Honestly, I expect Pitt to play his best hunters, so he may play his Dream Witch, he may play his Ivy, or we can even see him play his Breaking Wheel. We've seen him play Breaking Wheel multiple times and getting the 4K. And they NYX survivors have to be careful about the Breaking Wheel because if they let him out, if they let the Breaking Wheel out, it's gonna be a tough quest for them to go for a one man out. Especially that Breaking Wheel is so good at getting 4Ks. So I'm so curious to see what hunters are gonna be banned here, and then what Pistoppers is gonna respond to that.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we're just waiting on the NYX survivors to get all ready for the second half here. We have a lot of characters again, like I said, in the global ban. We've got 300 bans as well in this round. So sort of bringing out a lot of non-meta, of course, and whatever options that are left here in the pool. So it does give more room and sort of less, I guess, what do you want to say? Like, in when you really in the first rounds, you usually see, Opera and these really strong meta hunters come into play. And even if the survivors choose a strong team comp, the strength of Opera and the strength of Ivy can really just overpower survivors. And it's why, like, in round one, you're usually expecting the hunters to win more. And so now, yeah, like I said, in the later rounds, it's more up to the survivors to see what they can do with other characters that are available at this point. So we'll have a steer and airplane as banned right away. And for the survivors, they've chosen to ban Ivy, Opera, and Dreamwitch, which are all of Pitt's strongest hunters at the moment that he could have been playing in this round. So yeah, looking to see maybe, I don't know, what maybe a wax artist, or who else? Maybe Pitt will try and play Geisha as well. There
Yeah,
are a
we
lot
can
of
see a
options left,
mirror
but
pick here.
mhm.
We can see
Well,
mirror hunter picks, so he could go for another geisha pick. But I'm really glad to see the NYX survivors go for Opera ban here after not banning her in the past rounds. So they learned their mistakes now and they decided to ban the Opera. And they decided to go for a psychologist better. First two picks, really good first two picks, especially now. I think they're trying to push for more than a tie, maybe go for a win, as we know that Batter is a really good harasser. If Pit Stoppers decides to play Breaking Wheel here, it's gonna be so tough, especially when you have a batter who can harass and cancel your full presence. It's gonna be so tough for a wheeler. So as you said, we may see another geisha.
yeah, for sure. And looking at this comp here, we have Batter, Psychologist, Acrobat, Mercenary. Acrobat's a great kiter, of course. We have Batter, who can harass, and he also has good kiting abilities with the rage and using the balls. And we've got Psychologist is a great support as well. I wouldn't say she's such a strong kiter. She can definitely maybe last a little bit longer taking those free hits, but she could be the best first case here. And in terms of who the hunter would ideally go for, so they'll probably put her in the safest spawn. And of course, we have our stable rescuer, Mercenary, which is a great pick as well. Overall, this comp is pretty strong. I would say Batter is a bit of a difficult harasser to use now, and with all the nerfs that he's gotten recently, but he's still quite a strong available option.
Yeah, as you said. And unlike the last game, we've seen a really strong Cypher Rush. This time, Cypher Rush is not gonna be their thing, but their strongest. But their harassing and support is gonna be so strong. And I'm curious to know what Pit Stoppers is gonna pick here. I think playing wheel is gonna be rough to play Wax Horse. He doesn't decide to play Wax Horse, but instead he confirms his gamekeeper pick. So I'm excited to see this. I think that gamekeeper again can counter batter by putting down his traps on the ground, and then once the survivor is free from balloons, they're gonna get trapped again, and he can easily hit them. So I'm excited to see how this is gonna go.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, definitely for batter, he doesn't give him a lot of time. If he lands a hook on batter, I don't think he has enough time to really hit the ball, or that if with the ball he's able to make a lot of distance so that he is able to avoid the hit. But it looks like batter actually took the safest spawn here, spawning factory. So it's up to either, I feel like, acrobat or psychologist to take this kite right here. And I think ideally, Pit Stoppers wants to go towards middle and go for the psychologist here.
Yeah, he could go for psychologist, but I think it's gonna be so hard as we know, because if he goes for after the psychologist, she can go inside factory and have an easy kite, or um she can get support from the batter. So I think he may go after acrobat here.
Yeah, that would also be a strong option as well. Um, yeah, he has two really good options for chase, and actually in this comp, every single survivor has borrowed time, so will potentially be a good end game scenario where there doesn't need to be a pop for someone who doesn't have that trait.
Yeah, as you said, they're not going for any risky plays here. Everyone has borrowed time, no suicide builds, no one with tight Turner, broken windows or anything like that. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen in this game. I believe they're going for a tie, but Pitstoppers responding to their team comp with a gamekeeper is gonna be so interesting. As we hit into round two, second half of um, this seems like Pitstoppers is hidden immediately to Shack where the Acrobat spawned, and Acrobat doing a good job rotating early game, but it seems like he's gonna get found here. And he's kiting on top of the mercenary cipher or psychologist cipher, unfortunately. So cipher is not gonna be so good, as we see that psychologist going to cipher that is blocked already. So that's not good for survivors. But acrobat is doing a good job here. He is containing this gamekeeper effectively, um, but unfortunately takes a hit there. And it seems like he's running back to Shack, which is not a good idea because basement is there, and it's really not a good thing to um, give a basement share against a, a breaking wheel. I mean, a gamekeeper who is really good basement camper, and unfortunately, he misses his hook there um, as the acrobat keeps making distance and misses his blink. That's insane. It's gonna be so huge for the survivors, and this extends the acrobat kite so long that it's about to become a three cipher kite, which means that the early game rotation does not matter now. Cipher rush is gonna be good because of the acrobat kite here, and acrobat has kited for long enough that he was able to get another mud bomb, but unfortunately gets down here. But really good kite from the acrobat, and it seems like everyone is um, getting ready for this rescue. But unfortunately, the mercenary has wanted order on him, so it's gonna be a very tough rescue for the mercenary. I'm gonna. It's gonna be so interesting to see how mercenary is gonna get this, but it doesn't seem like the gamekeeper is noticing the rescue, and he gets a free rescue by the batter. Is this gonna be a tear shock? He's no, it's gonna be a a chair hit, and Batter is here to harass. Batter is full health, so he can afford to harass. And as I was saying, um, the gamekeeper can counter the Batter here by putting down his traps.
Yeah, it's difficult as well just to harass in general against a gamekeeper as a batter. Oh, and actually manages to land this hit right here
I'm
on
so
the
surprised it
batter
wasn't a
and
turret
kind of
shot.
preventing him from really being able to harass for much longer.
I think an acrobat being able to pick himself up. This Batter did his job very well, buying enough time for acrobat to pick himself up again.
Yeah, and actually just misses that fireball though. So going over that pallet, that gamekeeper able to land that hit is really important. As if he wasn't able to, I feel like Acrobat would have been able to kite much longer without the necessary help of the batter.
I think that he's trying to. Oh my god, a
Oh,
turret shot and a
wow.
self rescue.
It's actually really important for the gamekeeper here, as this really changes the game. Like having a stuff rescue here and forcing the psychologist to try and get this rescue off as well. What she able to get, and she doesn't get it. Gets hooked instead, and takes a hit right there, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, the psychologist couldn't get the rescue on time, and Acrobat flies back to the manor. And this is a game changer for them, as he just abnormals the last cipher, and it's not looking good now, because only psychologist can come for rescue, but she's not doing that. She's instead on that cipher, and she's also one hook down, one hit down. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, it feels like at this point there's not a lot the survivors can do. With only one cipher remaining, however, um, this could mean that they could still potentially get a one man. However, I don't know. It's looking like it's really advantageous for this gamekeeper at this moment.
Yeah,
Getting
is
another
gamekeeper has a huge advantage here.
yeah, tried to have the psychologist go in, but yeah, just gets two downs, and that'll be it. That'll be a 4K here, for Pitt in this fourth round second half.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a win for Omni here, which means they get us 3 points for one, which means they are the winner of this tournament. Congratulations to Omni, and hard luck for NYX. Really amazing performance from both teams here.
Yeah, what an exciting matchup from both sides. Congratulations to Omni for winning that matchup. Was just like watching that gamekeeper, sort of turn things around there at the end, just really securing that win. Yeah, what an exciting last round right there.
Yes, indeed. What an exciting last round. It was everything was going so fine for the survivors until the gamekeeper managed to stop the rescue and get the terror shock on the mercenary. So gotta give him that by stopping the rescue and coming back into the game and getting the win for his team. And GG's. Hard luck for NYX and congratulations to Omni.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, yeah, we have Omni as our champions here for the final matchup of Hylidae. Yeah, it's just unfortunate for NYX, but they did really well. So regardless of them not being able to win this matchup, still amazing gameplay, and still they brought a really exciting matchup for all of us to see. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming by and staying to watch this exciting tournament, as we've seen it start a month ago, I think, and being able to see the outcome of this tournament seeing Omni win this tournament, being um, the winners here. Very exciting matchup at the end. As we've seen, it was so hard to predict Omni to win here, as we've seen before. NYX beat Omni in the group stage, but it seems like Omni has learned a lesson and came back and won um, against NYX. So